Okay, getting on now. Yeah, I'm not doing an intro for this one because it's going to be a really short stream. Some people don't understand why I have a viewpoint of PirateSoftware right now as far as like being, I guess, that guy. Or why is he getting so much hate, I guess. There's always a question of like, why is he getting hate? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Why is this happening? And either he doesn't understand the concept of roughly how others are treated, or roughly a concept of teamwork, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the concepts that he's not familiar with exactly. Or is it the concept of, I guess the question is, what he did wrong? Not sure if that's the concept he's missing the grasp or missing the plot on, or some of his fans are missing the plot on overall. I think there's some plots being missed here as far as like why he's getting so much hate. There's always a question of like, does he deserve the hate, or does this deserve to happen, or is he really, you know, what's he did? What did he do? Well, the short term answer is he acted like that guy. I think I already did the I already did that mission. He acted like that guy. Everybody knows that guy. Nobody likes that guy. The reason why nobody likes that guy is the fact that he is that guy. He's the guy that takes no accountability for his F-ups. He's also the guy that does stupid stuff or does stuff to be self-preservation overall. While I do actually have some understanding of why somebody would do something like that, or do this, do that, and why somebody would really... We'll upgrade that here. Damage is not as much needed as pin enemy. We'll do. Have a concept of why that he's getting labeled by me like that is the factor of not because what he did, it's how you responded to basically any type of accountability whatsoever. That's my issue with him, and that's why I call him that guy. As a lot of you know, I played quite a few MMOs. I'm usually healer support. I follow my role down to a T. And as some of you old frogs know, even further back, I used to play EVE Online with some good buddies of mine. And we actually had a very tight-knit crew. I like to more or less go out exploring and stuff like that. Sometimes in the lower sec, sometimes in the higher sec. Sometimes in the null sec as well too. Sometimes I like to go through wormholes and stuff like that. And take people, and like, that was my thing, going on adventures like that. And then when I happen to find something, I always call my buddies and, hey, I found this, let's go to here. To that thing. And win, lose, or draw, we did it together overall. And that's one of the things that I think I really enjoyed about my core gaming group back in the day, was the fact that we're willing to go in, ride or die together. We ride together, we die together. Either we do fight, or we fight down to the last man. We were basically guys that would do, at the end of the day, we followed each other. We wrote or died. I'm not sure if he's watched right now, but my boy Caliber is definitely part of that crew that was part of that whole crew. That we rode together. If it's in Tarkov, we basically did everything we could to take care of each other. And if something were to get lost or something like that, we try to get it back, or try to at least fight it out type deal. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But at the end of the day, we did it together at the end of the day. There have been situations where roughly, like, the good thing about us is that, and I think that's the reason why me and Kyber played so well together on stuff like that, and the hardcore games like that, because when we fucked up, we took something called accountability for that. Accountability... Accountability is basically the factor of it's owning up to one's mistakes, where we can actually go back and actually really be think about the process of things like that, and we don't get heated. We don't get heated about the situation, not each other. The reason why that happens for the fact that we had a clear understanding and trusted each other to have that. Even though they're part of the same guild and stuff like that, I do feel like a lot of trust was not there with the guild. That's part of the guild's. That was part of the guild's problem. A bunch of random streamers getting together trying to do something special, which, you know, that's actually pretty awesome about that. I appreciate that factor. I had a high appreciation for what OnlyFans is doing. It's creating good content, getting people that normally didn't play WoW into WoW, which is really cool. I love that factor. And they were actually even playing hardcore, which makes it even more enjoyable to watch on there. He's dead. Ah, screw it. Could have dropped the hammer on him. There we go. Got him. And what happened in this situation was not a factor of like things going wrong, because everybody goes wrong. There's not going to be a chance. Nobody plays perfect. Everybody goes wrong somewhere, some way. It happens to the best of us. Happens to the worst of us. Sometimes it happens more to others, more to some than others. The issue I had with the gentleman named PirateSoftware was the fact that he took no accountability for it. He deflected, he dismissed, and he also basically was greedy on top of that. Either he basically was a complete dumbass and did not see he had items to restore his mana, or he realistically was just trying to save as much actual quote in-game money just to save his own ass. That's the only, there's no in between with that whole situation there. There was no maybe, oh, maybe he did this, maybe he could have done that or like that. Or basically there's always that third option. He may have panicked, but if he's a seasoned WoW player, former Blizzard staff, how come he panic in a situation like that? Like, if you played something like that before, panic is not one of those things that set in overall. After playing like Tarkov and other hardcore games like even stuff like that for a while, panic kind of is one of those situations where roughly it became like not as much second nature overall. It just doesn't set in like that normally. But yeah, the actual rationale I have about that was he was that guy. Mainly for the fact of his behavior, not because of the actual act itself, it's because of his reaction to that. And then basically when somebody gets trying to mediate it out, he basically was dismissive of that other player's feelings and just dipped out, didn't even get a chance to talk to the other bit like that. If I was guild leader at that point, for him doing that, I would have kicked him out, honestly, on that whole deal. Everybody has a say, especially when something goes wrong like that, you lost a character. Everybody deserves to get their say at that point, especially when it was clearly something he misdid on that one overall. Yes, everybody was at fault on there, but you don't dismiss another guild member's like actual feelings about certain things. And how dismissive he was about the other player is the issue I have with it as well too at the same time. People like that not only have that actual demeanor in game, they have probably worse behaviors in real life. And the only reason they get away with it in real life is because, let's be real about it, they're popular, or basically nobody goes against it because of the power they hold or something like that. Like him being a former Blizzard employee over him being a former developer like that is probably the power he holds, and they let him get away because, you know, he had that ability to do that, and they're afraid to say something against him because of that. But a lot of the other streamers in that guild actually straight up just called him out on the BS, and that's the only reason they actually even took the initiative to apologize on that. I feel like that. That's how I feel about it. It may not be true. He may actually deliberately felt bad, but the way he acted all the way through on that whole deal, and then roughly how he responded to criticism about that, makes me think otherwise. Like, I mess up a lot. I've messed up a lot. I've done things I'm ashamed of. But at the end of the day, when push came to shove, I took criticism and I took accountability for it overall. I acknowledge my mess ups. I know sometimes I'm domineering and stuff like that over certain situations overall. The reasons I am like that, I try to work on. I actually try to work on my weaknesses on there. But the fact that you did what you did, it's just one of those situations where roughly that it's not the factor that you have to worry about the backlash of people in general. It's the factor that you're surprised by it. That's if you're realistically that much main character that you don't realize why something like that happens. Instead of telling everybody else to touch grass, maybe you're the one that should go out into the real world and touch grass overall with that. Stuff like that doesn't fly in certain locations overall. Let's be real about this. You've never walked up, as they put it, you've never walked up on the right one because of that. Everybody basically, I think the best quote I can think about this is, actually let me pull up the best quote about this. Let's see if I can still find it. It's from a show called Mr. In Between. Which, the reality of that show was really well done. I really wish that it came over to America. Wish it got more mainstream in America. But this discussion actually made it kind of clear for me on that. Let's listen to this discussion.
Yeah, well, thank you, Max. Thank you. Right. How many people, if you had to guess, how many people would you say that you'd assaulted?
Heaps.
Now, how do you feel about that?
Fine, they had it coming, so.
And what did they do?
Oh, it depends. I mean, I'm pretty big on just respect, so like, if you respect me, I respect you. You know, if you don't, we got a problem.
Well, let's talk about the most recent assault, the one with the two youths.
No, I only bashed one of them, and they weren't youths, they were like in their 20s.
Well, let's call them young men then.
Yeah, so I was walking down the street with my daughter, and two guys come along, bumped into her, and she had an ice cream and, you know, dropped her ice cream and...
So you assaulted him?
Well, no, they started swearing. She's only 8, so...
So you bashed him while your daughter was just standing there?
No, not while she was standing there. I bashed him later.
Okay, well, how did you feel afterwards? After it all happened?
Fine.
Do you enjoy hitting people?
I wouldn't say I enjoy hitting people. You know, if I hit somebody, I generally got a pretty good reason.
And you think you had a good reason?
You don't say that?
So can you remind me again what that reason was?
Well, I've been arseholes.
The world is full of assholes, Ray. You do realise that?
Yeah, and you know why?
This is the one.
Because people let them get away with it. So if you're in jail, right, and you fuck with somebody, you disrespect somebody, you can end up dead. There's consequences. But out here in the real world, there's no consequences, right? So next time these two pricks are walking down the street and they start thinking, oh, we might go and fuck with somebody, they're going to think twice about it, which is good for everybody.
So in your mind, you've done society a favour?
Yeah.
Well, I guess on behalf of society, I should say thank you.
That is probably one of the best actual quotes overall. The reason why there's so many assholes in the world is because nobody actually holds them accountable. And the way he reacted to all that criticism, that must be the first time he's ever been held accountable for his bad behavior. You know, there's people that have like humility and such like that, and roughly have bad behavior overall, stuff like that. maybe because you're special or play like a sport. Like I know about, like for example, Zion got suspended in the NBA, got suspended by his own team for basically missing a flight. A 20-something-year-old got suspended for missing a flight, and you wonder why somebody that gifted is trying to crash out on his gift overall. There's a million different reasons it could be. Like it could be based on the factor that he's basically always been treated special his whole life because he basically played basketball real well. So then he got the NBA. I mean, he still plays well, but he's not a killer like he was in high school and like that. He has people. He has actual grown men he's playing against now, so it's a little bit different overall with that. But he got suspended because he missed a flight, which he should have got suspended for. And now I think his team is actually thinking about looking for reasons to trade him at this point and let somebody else take a project at this point, because that behavior is just one of those situations where roughly that he felt as a. I think it's more or less not the failure of Zion, it's also failure of the coaching staff for allowing him to get by without any accountability. And then on top of that, he's missed seasons because he was hurt. Zion has a lot to prove right now at this point. He is not basically at that level that everybody considers say that he's the GOAT, that he's actually in the GOAT conversation. These first few seasons, I think he's a wash. Mainly because, not because he lacks the talent, it's because he doesn't care. I think he lacks the care for the game overall at this point. But back to Pirate. I do think that shock at his backlash from his side of this is the fact that nobody held him accountable for a lot of other things overall. Behaviors like that is not a one-time occurrence type deal. It's a behavior that's actually been encouraged or fostered for over a while. So if somebody asks me like, why do I feel like he deserves a backlash? I don't think he deserves the actual level of backlash. I think that he should be held accountable, but basically made to feel bad for that so he remembers for the rest of his life like that. But I don't think he actually deserves that level overall of, that level of backlash. Somebody deserves death threats over doing bad for a while. I don't think nobody deserves death threats for being an asshole at the same time. But at certain places in the real world, like he said before, you could be... Oh, I got the other relic. You can basically, nothing will happen to you. Like, you mess up something like that in jail because, doing something goofy, you can get killed over that because of lack of respect. Well, nobody plays WoW in jail except for the Chinese, but that's a discussion altogether itself. But yeah, that is my thought process right there. And I used the rock analogy, for example. Like, basically, let's say he roughly punched a guy, but the other guy hit him with a freaking stone. And he asked, "Why'd you hit me with a stone? Why you hit me with your fist?" It's not the factor that it's not the fact that it's not why you hit you with the stone. It's not the factor of what he hit you with. It's the factor of why did he hit you with that. Maybe you should ask yourself that question. Why did he hit you with that? Maybe because you did something bad. You should be doing something bad like that. Oh yes, I love that. Dang, I got too much stuff in my inventory. We'll drop this one. Kind of wanted to build that up more. Actually, we'll see if this one rolls first. Oh, yeah, we're dropping that one. I can come back for it, of course. Wow, really?
I carry few possessions.
There we go. Had to figure out a way to put that in this sun gun. And superior mana flask. I think Gargantuan's smaller. Yeah, I think Gargantuan's smaller. Yep, it's much smaller. Alright, we're going to go back. But the reason why things happen to you is for the factor of your own actions, though. It's not the factor of the level should be at the same thing on that. It's the factor that you deserve your consequences as they happen to you because you made the consequence happen because you were bad.
It'll take if my fingers.
It's not the fact that you deserve it, it's a factor of your consequences because it actually happened. Because of what you did. So always I say shame on you on that situation. And while I wish that the death threats will stop for them, at the same time you get what you basically you can't not expect something of a reaction of that. You cannot not expect that. You not expect a reaction is basically either foolhardy or basically disingenuous at this point.
How can I advise you?
All right, we will see what we got here.
Hello.
No armor. I'm keeping that for upgrades. That evasion is not bad. But with that, I don't think I have the other skill thing left, so I'm gonna say no to that. Ooh. I can sell that one. That's getting sold. Put the other thing in the...
Stay inside.
We're gonna see how this turns out on this little this makeshift thing here. Alright, so now we're going to... I want to see if it lets me add one more to that. No, it won't let me do it that way. So we're going to do it here. Oh, why does it keep giving me light radius? I hate that shenanigans. Accuracy rating. Alright, let's see how it was. Big money, big money, big money. Oh, stun duration. It's not going to get any better from there. That kind of killed that whole deal. The Mono Leech intrigued me. But no melee skills, no nothing else. The elemental intrigued me too. But that kind of killed the rest of it on there. So that's getting sold. I had I waited to exhaust on that.
I'll unburden you.
Let me put this in stash. Let me put that on the actual. I'll sell the.
Hello.
The question is, will I make another character before that? Probably not. Since I'm streaming earlier tomorrow, I'll be able to play some. We're probably gonna play another game before Path of Exile. I'm gonna keep it a surprise though. It's basically so roughly the surprise will be anime Dark Souls. That's the secret behind it. It'll be anime Dark Souls. That's all I'm giving you. That leaves your imagination wide open, but it's a newer version of an anime Dark Souls. Okay, we're going to Nahilani Gates. We're going to go to oh, I got a response. Let's see what it says. Fair enough. That is actually a fair assessment there. Well, if charms worked, I'd be happy to use the charm thing, but they don't freaking work. It didn't work, but oh well.
It is time to fight.
Time to use the horn.
This is not.
Da, 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 da.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Yeah, I thought these were zombies first, but I found out these were, after hearing him talk about it, these are actual people that just dragged the thing. I'm like, damn. That just makes me feel really bad about that.
I am hesitant. So, Ars, let us see. You have your orders.
Kind of wax this guy, then basically get it finished up. Flicker Strike's so fire, and I love it.
Expect burial spires to be so beautiful. No escape.
And you know, another thing I always say roughly, the thing about the true measure of a person, it's not basically it's basically not how well they do. Yes, there's always peaks and stuff like that. The true measure of a person is how well they do when things are not going so well for them. And this will be a good measure for him. See how, as far as like when things are not going well for him and his response, you know, you're seeing how well he is at this point, and I'll say that. But things are bad, chips are down. Look how well he's doing on that one. And I'm kind of wondering though, is who's gonna party with him now at this point? I'm kind of curious who he's gonna like roll with at this point in harder content after seeing that display of like cowardice, as I call it at this point. I don't care what anybody says, cowardice. I know it's hardcore, but there are hardcore type of games overall that actually have the same elements of risk everything type deal, but it's one of those situations where you gotta have that level of ride or die to have that belief in fighting ability overall for it. But you know, some people say the ride or die mentality is dying, so. Which they may be right at the same time on there. Like I heard Aspen defending him at this point, which, you know, a lot of times I hear Aspen a lot of things, but I don't agree with him about that whole deal. He tried to blame the Druid. I don't blame the Druid for that whole deal. It was actually look at his hindsight overall. There's all I think he could have done on that. A lot of that was very salvageable. Next, I guess I'll have to ask Rain next time when she comes in on that. Basically about the whole, how would you handle a situation like that? I'll have to let her watch the video on that and ask her aspect of that. She's a guild leader though. So yeah, that's one thing I will say, that she is actually a guild leader. A pretty good one too overall too, on top of that. She was willing to sacrifice her time and her, like, I guess her sanity, as they put it, to hang out with the guild, to do raids on on freaking New World. Which New World, while it's not top of the line right now, it's not one of those games that's everybody's playing at the same time overall. But she's running the best she can and making things happen overall. she's making it fun for a lot of people, which is actually a good feeling about that overall. Like I've said, basically my role has always been like support, and at the end of the day, doesn't matter if you're Michael or Scotty, as long as you win championships, that's all that matters. That's the real deal there. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh yeah, I love it. Oh, I love it. It makes me feel like Donnie Yen with that. He makes that same noise too, to like. Bah, 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 bah. Okay. Let's see, Axer's robes. That's just energy robes. For embracers. Okay, there we go. But yeah, when you do stuff like that, when you play in games like that, especially with teammates, respect your teammates, show love to them. If something happens, so what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who made the mistake, as mistakes will happen. Doesn't matter who does them. If you feel like you basically can't accept the consequence of a mistake, or can't accept that, hey, I did do this, I did do that. I keep on finding these things. Are you actually? I want to send it. Yeah, I need to find one. Another funny thing though, people are basically and criticizing Azzy for his opinions stuff like that. It's getting to the point where basically it's like, oh, he's only doing it because he's like left leaning or something like that, and they try to say that he's basically becoming like they won't attack certain people because of their political leanings, which I think is very inaccurate. Azzy attacks everybody, right or wrong in his opinion. He attacks everybody. And of course, Aspen, stood on business on his things like, yeah, if Elon proves that he plays his account, he'll stream on he's streaming on Twitter for a year straight. I'm like, you know what, Elon, take him up on that, brother. Take him up on that. I think you played some. The question is, do I think he played all the way through? And you know, they're trying to say the gear, like having a level 67 like weapon, is like the actual smoking gun. I'll tell Secret of myself. When I played at OG Path of Exile, I had a weapon that was like probably around like level, I think it was like 62 or something like that. Mainly because the rolls were outstanding and they balanced out my build a lot. The build was not always about the weapon, it was about the actual other stuff around the weapon. And I did something called the meatball build. Basically, like I just put up corpses, just threw stuff. It's basically throwing corpses at other corpses, which basically just bombing everything. And I could also make corpses too, which that was wild. I loved doing that crap. It was easy. It was cookie cutter, and it took me pretty far overall too. On top of that, it got me into the 90s with that too. I did find certain gears like, I'll try it out, but I like the way them other actual did things overall. It actually had a balancing to it. It actually had like better explosions and stuff like that. I forgot what was so special about it. I had to go back to it to see again. But yeah, I mean, it's not always your gear. It's basically at the end of the day, like what works best for you at what time overall. You don't have to have the highest level gear on every single piece of your gear to set higher levels. It does help out. but sometimes you get comfortable with that gear. Very comfortable with that gear. Am I lost? Let me see. I think I might be lost. No, I'm going the right way. I might be lost. It's just, I mean, realistically, I'm thinking about ways to defend them overall. There's no hard defense to his behavior at all on that situation. No matter if it was his fault or wasn't his fault, he really just was dismissive of his teammates. They're supposed to be part of the same guild. He's that dismissive as far as like a guild member. And then rough when somebody was trying to mediate, he just dipped out. He's like, no, I'm just dipping out. And didn't even give a shot to the other person to really say his piece overall. And he not only did he do it actually, the key factor is not the fact it was behind closed doors. It was on stream. And I found that very disrespectful. When you do it, basically, there's a level of respect you give other people. That's part of like something you're trying to work with and try to build. And the worst part about it, I think it was dismissive for the factor that he ain't got a character at his level anymore, so it doesn't matter for him. I think that's why he was so dismissive of him, because he didn't have a character high anymore. And he's like, I ain't gonna play with him anymore anyway. I think that's another reason, the level of dismissivism that he had towards the other people like that. Oh, let me just go portal out. I think I'm supposed to leave anyway. I got everything I needed out of there. And even Soto lit into him as well too. On top of that, he kind of lit into him about the whole deal. And he commented like when he apologized after the fact, he took it at face value, which I don't know. I don't know if I take it as face value on that one. I think it was kind of a half-hearted apology.
Who goes there? You found a letter. When I have the take care.
I was here, so I should be. I was here, so I should be. There's somewhere close by.
Relentless assault!
Dismiss, deflect, and dismay. $51. Okay. Yeah, that's where portal was at. So we're up. Yeah, that's where Portal was at. So where am I supposed to go at this point? I got wit everywhere. My stream just die. Okay, it's just loaded up for me. Take a minute. Okay. About to say, why my stream die? Well, I am about to head out in a few minutes, but yeah. I want to get my opinion out there for the factor that I'm standing on business on this whole deal. No matter if you're a fan or dislike him or anything like that. He was that guy. He was effing that guy. He was really, really, really that guy. I just dislike. A lot of people dislike that. A lot of people dislike those guys. You don't let people like that disrespect you like that. And you know, I hope there's actually a proper punishment for that overall. Mainly not because of the bad plays, for the bad disrespect he did to others on that. I feel about what he did.
Thunder!
And I've been thinking about hindsight. I do look at Asmon's outlook overall about how the things transpired overall. When you have a player that does nothing at all, it gives you no chance at all to do something like that, especially on there. I'm definitely not doing that shit because, you know, I'm not gonna run all. If I die, I'm not gonna go through all that again. You know, I think about hindsight. I had a coworker who was that guy before. Like, not only in general. He swears that he gets mad for the fact nobody talks to him directly, but then at the same time, when they do, feels like he patronizes them at the same time overall with that. If it is, I'd like to create a Halo build with my freaking mercenary. Oh wow, and I love that.
Let these towers stand for all time.
Oh, wrong way. Didn't have anything there. We'll go back. Sometimes I find it super quick, but this time around, it's been like inconsistent for me at this point. I'm like, dang, am I slipping? Probably a little bit. Trying to make my way over here. Making my way downtown, down, down, down. Nope, not there.
You are relentless, but that makes you predictable. The time of the Paladin is nigh.
Wow. I thought I was on the inside. Try one more time.
You are relentless, but that makes you predictable. The time of the Faradin is nigh.
Wow. Dude, I'm just not getting out of the way of that one.
You are relentless, but that makes you predictable. The time of the Faradin is nigh.
No escape!
That was quick.
Is it the beast that empowers such horrors? This must end.
Alrighty. Alright guys, I am going to head out for tonight. I'll definitely see you guys tomorrow. Think about it, guys. Never take any disrespect from somebody like that. You don't have to. You don't need to.